your football season ticket, it's so important of all of the things in your life that don't matter.
And it's funny, these trolls, they take pride in being blocked. Hey, got him, he's blocked me. And I'm like...
Should I have a second kid? No. I'm really looking forward to a vasectomy.
Don't get married. Welcome to the Men's Room Podcast. Ade Oladipo, Rory Jennings. Very special episode, this one. You guys want to get involved? Here's your time. This is it. This is your time to get involved. We put it out there on Rory's Twitter. Ask us some questions and we're going to try our best to answer those questions. Before we start, this is very important. We're not doctors. We're not therapists. We're just two geezers sitting in the pub. That's what we are.
No, absolutely.
Two geezers sitting in the pub and we're going to be honest with our answers.
This is the counsel that we would provide to a mate in a pub. We're not professional. We have no background in education on these issues, but we've cast the net out. I put it on Instagram and some people have sent in a few questions where they would like some advice. Yeah. We're going to pick some of them. I'm going to keep it completely anonymous. And I will pick out some, Ade, that I think we can help with, and I'll ignore ones that are either offensive or I don't think we can help with.
A few of those came in. Go on, first one.
The first one we'll start with. Best way to keep motivated?
Ooh, that's a tough one as well.
Well, I suppose there's an implication here in the question from M. Do you keep motivated? Before you can advise somebody on how to keep motivated, would you suggest that you do? Would you call yourself a motivated person?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Because I've got a crazy work ethic.
Why?
Because I remember where I was before.
Okay, there you go.
I remember where I was before, whether it be before I got into broadcasting or even into work, and I don't want to get there again. So I think my motivation is to continue to go that way. Mm-hmm. So I'd always work and hustle, if you like. Yeah. You know what keeps me motivated? Actually, keeps me on the right track. My YouTube channel. There's something about waking up, doing a video, and then starting the day. So that's my thing. I wake up, have a coffee, do a YouTube video.
It's the anchor.
It's the anchor. If I don't do the YouTube video, I feel like, I've messed up the day. I've messed up the flow of the day somehow.
Have you done it today?
Done it today. It's uploaded. Boxing Talk with Ade. No, it's Ade Oladipo now. I need the subs. So that's how I stay motivated.
Okay.
Just because, again, I don't want to go back to where I was. So many opportunities. We're very lucky. There's so many opportunities. But I feel like you've got to have an anchor to start the day.
Yeah.
I think it's important.
I agree with that.
What about you?
Mine is only my family.
Oh, yeah.
Mine is only that. Like I wasn't particularly motivated. I wasn't particularly interested in my career. And we've opted into an industry that is about the hustle. Like, this is the hustler's industry. And if you aren't prepared to put yourself out there, if you aren't prepared to be proactive and be on the front foot, you haven't really got a chance. And I was in this industry on one way or another, as an actor or working in telly or even in YouTube. But I didn't really have the motivation or the hunger. Then my daughter was born and everything changed.
You motivate me. Have I told you that before?
No.
You motivate me. Like, when anyone talks about you, especially if they dare try and talk about you in some sort of form of negative light, I'm saying Rory's the hardest working person I've ever met. The hardest working person I've ever met.
We had those funny moments. I remember you did say that to me. Yeah. You said there was a time when you dropped me off at the station. You dropped me off at Stratford Station. And we'd been together all day. Yeah. Like, we'd met at 9 and you dropped me off at Stratford Station at 10:30.
Yeah.
And I went trudging off. I remember it's boiling hot. It had been last summer.
Dude, I think we might have walked. I think we might have walked. We walked because Mr. Rory here moaned about the length of the walk.
We walked for miles, all around the marshland, round West Ham's grounds.
Yeah.
And that's when you said to me, you were like, this is the bit of sort of being a YouTuber that people don't see. You've been out all day and we're now walking to the station, boiling hot.
And I know you've got another hour plus to get home.
Yeah, I live the other side of London. Yeah.
So what would you say to someone? Look, I guess a lot of these people messaging in don't work in the entertainment or broadcast world, just have 9-to-5 jobs. A lot of people, because of the economy, are struggling as well to keep the lights on. How would they be motivated?
I mean, in order to keep motivated, I think having a goal is probably quite motivational. Thinking about what you want, whatever it is, it might be something that's quite obtainable in terms of an immediate thing, maybe a purchase in a shop, or maybe a holiday, or it might be something that's grander and further in the holiday home in Spain. Something maybe that you're building towards.
Monthly goals and then your yearly ones. Yeah, agreed.
I think goals is a good goals.
So important.
Goals are a good tactic.
Yeah, it's so important to do. All right, next one.
Right.
Start.
What is an acceptable amount of football to watch if you have a significant other?
It's funny because there was a tweet going around the other day. Someone it's gone off. It's flew, this tweet. Like, why do men love sport? Like, I think the tweet
I've
was...
seen it.
Yeah. I can't understand why men love football.
Loads of people... No, it's just sport, because loads
sport.
of people have quoted it with like an amazing knockout or something.
Yeah. An acceptable amount of football. You know what? Me and you were talking about this the other day. There's almost too much football going on right now. There's almost too much. Imagine this. Your other half has had the whole season and you've been screaming at the TV, and then all of a sudden she thinks, oh, it's done. And then internationals are here. She's like, well, one second, it doesn't stop, does it?
Do you know what, though? And to answer this person's question directly, I don't think you should watch any if you're inflicting it on someone else.
Yeah.
If I'm going to... My wife has absolutely no interest in football. In fact, she has a negative interest. Like, she doesn't want to know.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to watch it. I think it would be appalling for me to put it on and say, this is what we're watching. If I'm watching it, it's on the iPad in the other room. I'll go and watch it.
Okay.
But I would never inflict it.
But what if it's not inflicting it like that? What if it's inflicting in the sense that you're not with each other? So yes, you're in the other room, but then I guess it's the same thing, because for 2 and a bit hours, whatever, you're not with each other.
I think there's a really easy rule. I've cracked it.
Go on, tell me.
Your team. Watch your team.
Yeah.
But you can't do that. You can't watch Borussia Mönchengladbach versus Mainz.
That's a joke, isn't it?
You can't do
That's
that.
bad.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah,
your team is 90 minutes a week, maybe 2 90 minutes a week.
You might have a Wednesday night, you might have a Saturday.
Yeah.
You can watch your team.
That should, you know what? That should be okay. Talk to your missus. That should be fine.
Yeah.
2 90-minute match. I mean,
Yeah.
they watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians, all that nonsense. They watch all that nonsense. We can't watch a bit of footy.
I'll tell you what I've got. Do you know what I've got in my house? And it drives me mad. The only way is Essex.
You've got that.
That's what's on in my house.
Is that because of she works on this one?
Yeah, a little bit of that, but she's a fan.
Oh!
She's a fan. Yeah, it's definitely on. Similar vein, there's a cost of living crisis, struggling for money. How will I budget for my season ticket next year, Rory?
You got your things in the wrong order, mate.
Yeah.
Like, if there's a cost of living crisis, I get it. We all love our clubs and it's important. You don't go, mate.
You don't go.
You don't go. Unless someone's going to throw you a bone and hook you up with it.
No, you go as and when. You go as and when.
Because so it's funny that I'm laughing. Cost of living crisis, you're talking about season ticket in the Premier League, which is over £1,000 nowadays.
I think your football ticket should be the most important thing in your life. It should be like your entire priority. Your entire life should focus around having your football season ticket. Yeah. It's so important of all of the things in your life that don't matter. It's the most important thing out of everything that don't matter. Doesn't count.
What you need to do, and this is my advice to you, is 4 friends come together, you all put chip in, and you pick the games. You get
you have a season
everyone
ticket,
gets a tier game. You get a Man United, you get whatever, and then you get the lower ones. Yeah. That's what it should be. 4 guys come together.
Yeah, definitely do a half season ticket, can't you? You can definitely do a half.
Should be an accountant.
But yeah, that would be my approach to that kind of thing. It's the most important thing of all of the things that don't matter. So the things that matter are obviously
Food,
are you paying your rent?
Clothing,
exactly.
Light,
exactly.
Rent.
They're the things that matter. Yeah. Football can be the most important thing.
I will say this though, you're hardcore. Yeah. He's hardcore football. Cost of living crisis, and he's thinking about a season ticket.
It's an interesting one. It's from Jake.
Go on.
Can I just check, Ade? Should I be saying first names? That's fine, right? First name's fine. Okay.
First name's fine.
This is from Jake.
Unless it's Ade Oladipo.
No, it's quite identifiable. But Jake, there's plenty of Jakes about.
Plenty of Jakes.
Right. How do you both evaluate when to take risks versus consolidating to achieve success in life?
That's a good one. Is that from your burner account? That's a good question.
Mate, I'm not clever enough to even acknowledge when to take risks. Although, weirdly, this is so odd. I was talking a little bit about this with my missus recently because I got quite lucky when I was young, right? And I was just saying, I was using it as a way to demonstrate my personality compared to people who are a little bit more adventurous. Me and my good mate, and a brilliant actor, right, a guy called Elliot Jordan, we both earned some money in EastEnders at a similar time in our life. And what we were talking about doing was going to America. A lot of young English actors go over for pilot season. And me and Elliot both came into some money that meant that we could afford to go and do that. When the money landed and I saw it, I kept going around a cash point. I kept like looking at it. I was like looking at that. Yeah. I was like, I can't go to LA. That feels it feels like a lottery. Like I might go over there in the way that Andrew Garfield did and end up being Spider-Man, right? Andrew Garfield was on the circuit with us. He went, he took the risk and bang, look at him go. Dan Kaluuya, look at him go. It could happen. But my personality, I was looking at this money and I was like, it fritters away in LA very quickly. I could buy a flat, not outright, but I could get I could put this money down and I could go to LA for 6 months, or I could put this money down on a property. And I was like,
What'd you do?
Consolidate.
What did he do?
My mate went.
And what happened?
He is still an actor, but it didn't land. It didn't land. But just to the other side of that, Dan Kaluuya went. Look at him. He's won an Oscar.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield went. He's Spider-Man. Like, people within our world.
It's a thin line, isn't it?
People within our world went, took the risk, and have never moved back.
I think now for us, in terms of risk taking, mine's a lot easier than you. I can take a risk because I have no wife and kids.
Yeah.
I can do it. I can live off, and I've done it. I can live off rice and mackerel for a year. Not a problem.
Yeah.
Not a problem. I can take a risk with it. I guess if you've got a family, it's difficult to take a risk like that. You can't just do that.
But the stakes are higher and you need to succeed, so maybe you have to take the risk. It's difficult, mate, because, you know, ultimately, if you don't have dependents, you're always going to be all right. Yeah. Whereas when you do have dependents, you have to make it. And maybe the risk is therefore more worthwhile because of the payoff. But I think you've got to weigh up the risk reward. Generally?
I think I'm a risk taker. I always weigh up the risk reward factor with it. It's funny with my risk nowadays. It's got I take so many risks that I'm like, if it's not, this is going to sound extreme. If it's not death or jail, what's the worst that can happen? Because I've been broke. I've been dead broke, where there's been nothing in the account, and we've always seemed to have found a way to find money somewhere. So I don't mind taking a risk. I'm not like Tom Skinner, a wheeler dealer, but I'll always take a risk.
There's a risk taker.
There's a risk taker. Like,
that's not me.
I'm not that.
That's not me.
Risk taker. No,
And I'm delighted to say that I don't think I'm speaking out of line here. I'm sure Tom would agree with this. The Wolf's not at his door, right? He's got a lovely watch. He's doing well. He's got a few quid. He was always going to either do that or be brassic. Yeah. You know, people like that. Yeah. I think Alan Sugar would be an example of that. Yeah. They were always going to be caked or brassic because
there
they're
must be so many people on the stock exchange that are either on the line where they could be multimillionaires or they file for bankruptcy.
So this chap, I imagine, has messaged us. Let me just find it again. This is from Jake. How do you both evaluate when to take risks versus consolidating? I imagine that Jake is in a dilemma now, don't you? Like, this must be something current in his life. Yeah. Would you, without knowing the specifics, would you suggest taking that risk or consolidating to achieve success in life?
We need almost a bit more information. Again, taking that risk in my position, I would always take a risk. But that's because I've only got one mouth to feed, and I know what my rent is.
Try and do both. Try and consolidate. Try and make sure that the rent's
have a little bit tucked away.
Yeah, but then also roll that dice.
Roll that dice, because if you don't roll that dice, you're always going to live with regret that you've not rolled that dice. But it's not easy. It's not easy.
Here's an interesting one.
Go on.
From JR. It says, how do I keep justifying my trips to watch West Ham in Europe, but I can't afford a holiday with my girlfriend?
Yeah, you might need to split up.
Or you
might need to split up.
No, Ade?
You might need to split up.
Ade, hang on a minute, mate. That is not... Hang on, that's not it.
Split up. No. There's no justification for it.
That's not it.
He's picking football. He's picking West Ham.
The answer is don't go to West Ham in Europe.
Over his girlfriend.
That's the problem.
So you're saying the answer is don't do what he wants to do, which gives him so much joy in life, which he's obviously clearly chosen which one he prefers the most. He prefers West Ham away in Europe over time with his girlfriend. Pick one.
I would say, okay, I'm gonna try and do this more adult than you, which is the first time ever for our relationship. Yeah. The answer, in my opinion, here, Rob, is compromise. So don't do when the Europa League starts very soon. Yeah, you don't need to do the first one.
Why?
Don't do any until the knockout.
Well, one second.
So that you can take your missus on holiday. What do you mean? Why? So that he has a relationship.
Rob, this is easy. As a Chelsea fan, they're in Europe every single season. As a West Ham fan, this comes along once in a blue moon.
Mate, this fellow...
West Ham are away in Europe, go. Because it ain't going to happen every single year. Live it, because you know what? It might not happen for the next 20 years.
This has gone wrong. Effectively, what's going to happen here, this chap is going to end up single because of your advice. He's going to end up single, but on every West Ham trip.
No, he'll end up single for a year because West Ham will only be in Europe for a couple of years. Then give her a call, check where she is.
Okay.
Say, I'm back. West Ham not there.
Go on. One kid is very hard, but I'm thinking a sibling might be nice. Should I have a second kid? No. Mate, I can't give you advice on this.
No, it's selfish.
I can't
It's
give
selfish.
advice. I can only tell you my opinion.
I think we've both got different opinions. I've got siblings.
How many?
I've got 3 sisters, 2 brothers.
Wow.
And to be in the family, sort of growing up around them in my teens and my early childhood, fun, energetic, parks, parties. Even the fights were fun.
Yep, I can.
I can't imagine doing that by myself.
I'm looking at it strictly from a selfish perspective. I'm looking at it from a parent's perspective.
Rory used to come with bags to work. Hey, look, you actually look good now. Look how refreshed you look. I remember when your daughter was born. Jeez, mate.
Oh, mate.
You aged a lot.
I'm not having another kid.
You're gonna do that?
No, I'm really looking forward to a vasectomy. It's amazing. I'm genuinely like you know when you go to sleep at night and you kind of like fantasize about the good things in, like, for me it might be Chelsea winning the European Cup or maybe winning the World Series of Poker or whatever, right? The other thing I really look forward to, a vasectomy. What
if your daughter gets to an age and she's getting her now where she's like, Mummy, Daddy, I want a brother or sister?
But genuinely, this isn't me just saying it. You know, with one kid, I can give my daughter a really good life. Like, genuinely, like the life that I can afford her.
It's not a bad life now. The little horse riding and all that kind of
stuff.
stuff.
That's what I mean, though. And I can do all that because I've got one. You know, if you double it in cost, like, they're dear, mate. They're really dear.
Yeah, all they do, basically, what my mum did to me, get me hand-you-downs. So I was wearing my brother's trainers, my brother's jackets, the clothes.
Everything is dear, and trust me, everything is...
So what are we saying to him? No more kids?
I'm not saying to him at all, no more kids. I'm saying to him...
That you wouldn't.
Do what you like.
Yeah.
But to me, I'm just going to say what I'm doing. I'm fantasising about a vasectomy. Mate, do you know how mental this is? It's an operation on my bollocks, and I am really up for it. That's how scarred I am by how hard...
All I can hear is pain and feel pain.
It was so painful the first 18 months of...
I was there, I was around, I saw you every day at work.
I couldn't cope.
All right,
I honestly couldn't cope.
Next one. These are fun, by the way. We need to do more of these. These are good.
You have both done very well for yourself.
Yes.
This is from Dan. You've both done very well for yourself. Do you have any general career advice?
You know what it is with me and Rory? We're both just hustlers.
Chances.
Like we feel like we're going to get found out sooner or later. They've given us a show on talkSPORT. We're like, what are they doing? Prime time. Like, how are we there? Honestly, though, we work hard. Like, seriously hard. And it's funny, sometimes I wish there could be like a behind-the-scenes camera just following me for a day of what we're doing.
General career advice, I would say, always be punctual. Be nice. I've got 3 tips, right? And you'll go a long way working in telly if you stick to these 3 tips. Be nice, be punctual, don't nick anything.
Since when was the last one something?
Since somebody I know might have got caught nicking the cartridges that you put in a printer and selling them.
Quite important. Those cartridges are expensive.
Yeah. Nicking them out of an office and selling them.
Why would they?
Mate, he's on a
Not even just for keeping them. Not even keeping them for himself.
No, he's selling them. But basically, he lost his career in telly. But if you turn up and you're nice and you're punctual and you don't thieve, you'll be absolutely fine.
And by the way, because I was 10 years working for my local council without no goals and aspirations. You can get stuck in a role like that. Have goals and aspirations. Please write them down and just target them and try and do everything you can to reach them. Don't be stuck in a rut like I was.
This is a good one.
Right.
Charlie. My missus is dreaming of a massive wedding, but I want to keep it small and intimate. What do we do?
Don't get married.
My advice is just...
Be honest.
I think grow up
Be
as the bloke.
No, you know
it's
what
not about you. It's about your missus has been dreaming of this day for all of her life, probably.
But you can't afford it. You can't afford it.
He doesn't mention money, in fairness. He just says, my missus is dreaming of a massive wedding.
Who's
guy called Charlie.
So the wedding day is for the woman, then? Yeah, it's just all ladies. The man has no input in this. He wants a small...
80-20.
Shouldn't they compromise?
80-20 women's favour.
Okay, then let it go... Shouldn't they compromise then a little bit?
I would say, again, I'd say give your missus the wedding that she wants. Because ultimately, you're going to have a great day, aren't you? You're going to be drinking champagne with your mates at a reception, probably on a roof terrace.
I agree with you. Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
Happy wife, happy life. Just do it. Close your eyes. Get on with it. And yeah, because she'll always bring it up. If you go small wedding, she'll always bring it up, especially when she goes to her friends' weddings and they're big.
Yeah.
Yeah, go big.
Oh, this is a good one. On Twitter, this is from Jack. On Twitter, I got trolled for giving a football opinion that turned out to be terrible.
Oh, it's you in it. He's taking the mick out of you. It has to be.
Do you have any advice for coping with trolls?
Oh, okay. No, it's an interesting. My advice nowadays is I press that mute button and block button so quick. It's just the perfect button that Twitter invented. Don't even get involved in it. Mute. Move on. Block.
Do you not find though now? So I occasionally somebody will get blocked, but now I don't even look. You know, you click the @ column.
Okay, so it tells you. Yeah.
Like I look at Twitter. But I look at my home feed. I don't even look at the @ So the only annoying thing about that would be, you know, if you were to @ me on Twitter, I probably don't see it.
Yeah.
But I don't even look at that page.
Some people can't be tagged in tweets as well. Like that's more for people with massive followers. They can't be tagged in tweets. But yeah, I just honestly I feel like for your own mental health, sometimes just mute people.
Do you care?
Mute. Sometimes, especially if it's, I don't mind the usual ones like, oh, Ade was crap, but I don't really care about that because that's your opinion. But when it's like I'm going back and forth about something and someone jumps in and tries to attack my knowledge of a sport, I do a little bit.
No, but that again, that would be fine, wouldn't it? Because that would be politely. Yeah. They politely contradict.
I don't think no one does something politely on Twitter.
No. But if somebody were to just come at you, so you give a footballing opinion. Somebody were to suggest that your footballing opinion was wrong. You were actually involved in a debate the other day. I thought you were correct.
Which I won.
In my opinion, you won.
No, I won.
I don't. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So you were having a debate about how good is Riyad Mahrez effectively.
Yeah.
You were calling him world class, and somebody took issue with that.
Yeah.
That was done in a very reasonable way.
Yeah.
But what about trolls? What about if somebody were to attack you?
What I don't like is, for some reason, we could be having a debate, which debates are fine. Love them. In fact, that's part of the good stuff. Surrounding Twitter. It's when people somehow chuck abuse in there.
Yeah. How does that, do you bother? Does that bother you?
Big time.
So if somebody were to insult you, make it personal.
Yeah, and I'm like, why are we doing this? But then I realise, you know, I don't know what the average age of my Twitter following is, but it certainly isn't 42.
Yeah.
So I'd realise I'm dealing with youngsters.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's probably what it is. But I think, look, that mute button has been invented for a reason. Just mute some people.
So block would be your tip.
It's wonderful. And it's funny, these trolls, they take pride in being blocked. Hey, got him, he's blocked me. And I'm like...
you can only use that once though, can't you?
Block?
The person can only say, oh, I've won, I've been blocked, because then they can't talk to you ever. They're literally gone from your life.
Ever again. And then you see them outside.
I had that recently. I had a very funny one recently for that. Someone approached me on a tube, right? I was on a Jubilee line. Somebody asked for a picture, and I said, yeah, of course, nice to meet you. Had a football chat for a distance, right? Green Park to Baker Street. It's a distance, right? A couple of stops, right? Had a good chat. And just before I got off, I gave him the old fist bump and off I got. He went, mate, can I just ask you a question? I'm gone. He went, would you do me a favour? Would you unblock me on Twitter? I went,
wow.
I went, no. I don't know why I've blocked you. But we've had like a very reasonable, very rational, quite an interesting chat. See? You've had a picture. I was going to reshare it on Instagram, and then he obviously at some point over the past
decade, for you to press block, he's done something a bit. He's crossed the line.
Although the line. Don't do the block. Oh no, I'm a blocker.
Are you a blocker?
No, I'm the opposite.
Are you a blocker?
Oh yeah. I block people that don't even talk to me if I just don't want to see their stuff.
Can you unblock me as well, please?
I'm a massive football fan, and I'm currently living in Australia. This is David. Mm-hmm. Is it worth me moving to the UK, or do you think it's too risky and I should stay in Australia?
It's a bit more. I know Twitter doesn't have a lot of room for you to say a tweet in full, but I need a bit more information, David. Do you know what I mean?
I think the answer I know though
is no.
The answer is no. Move to the UK for many reasons, but not just for football. Yeah, like move for employment and adventure and fun and football, but don't move for football. Yeah. Surely.
I mean,
I'm being sensible here, right?
You can, as you say, you can, come over here once in a blue moon to watch a game. Like pick a game in the calendar.
It's like you've got a real soft spot for the basketball, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm going to go to the bloody NBA. I want to go to America. Yeah, just because I'm an NBA fan. No. I would go over to watch Lakers versus the Warriors. I'll pick a date and I'm going to go for that one. So that's what you should do. What's his name?
His name is David, I believe.
David. That's what you should do, David, as well. Yeah. I think that was good.
It's lovely.
I think we...
Interesting.
I think we give solid advice.
I do as well. But remember, we are not professionals. This is merely our opinion.
Yeah. We're not professionals at anything.
No.
Yeah. Although you are getting close to being a professional poker player.
Oh, I wish.
You're good though, aren't you?
No, not compared to the best. So I'm all right.
No, Rory's right though. Just to kind of second that, we're not professionals, we're not therapists, we're not doctors. We're just giving you our advice from our own experiences.
It's been good fun.
I've had good fun as well with it. That's it. Another episode of The Men's Room is in the can. Do me a favour on this one. If you are watching this on YouTube, make sure you like, share, leave a comment. It all helps. Please give us a thumbs up as well. And remember, you can download this episode from wherever you download your podcast from. We'll see you on another episode of The Men's Room very, very soon.